Hey folks, it's Alex Blencar and I'm back at the kitchen table. Today we're going to go over the October residential real estate market for the city of Peterborough. So the biggest highlight of this month, we actually saw the average price of a residential home in the city increase month over month by about $33,000. Yeah, you heard it right, folks. Now, all this doom and the gloom in the media, it's saying, real estate's crashing, real estate's going down. And then you turn into the Peterborough market and you see a $33,000 increase month over month. So what the heck's going on? Well, stay tuned. I'll break it down for you in this video. Another thing to note, we saw number of sales, number of new listings, and days on market relatively stay the same month over month. I think there was only about a 1 or 2 point change month over month. So it's interesting to see those statistics stay the same, but see that average price actually increase from September. Another highlight here, we saw every neighborhood's average price increase except our two hottest real estate markets in Peterborough, which is the Peterborough North End and the Peterborough West End. We actually saw those two markets take a decrease month over month. So the North End took about a $58,000 hit month over month. So the average price actually declined by about $58,000 month over month between September 2022 and October 2022. Then we saw the West End take only about a $20,000 hit month over month. So again, a $20,000 difference between the average price for a residential home in the West End in September. It's declined by $20,000 in October. So without further ado, guys, let's break down the overall city stats and then we'll go into the different neighborhoods like we always do. So October 2021 versus October 2022. Overall, we saw 139 new listings overall in the whole city of Peterborough. That's up about 69.5% year over year. So listings have gone up. Then we saw 75 sales for the month. So that's down about 29% year over year. And it's interesting to see that sales to listings ratio. We're almost at, one sale for every two listings for the month of October. And then the average price for a residential home. This clocked in at $627, $675 for the month of October. And that's only down about 4% year over year. So not a huge change year over year. You're hearing doom and gloom in the media, but we've only seen, it's still a decline, but we've only seen about a 4% change year over year for the average price residential home in the city of Peterborough. Finally, days to sell. Now, this is up about 115%. So yes, these properties are taking longer to sell. We're at 28 days to sell for the month of October in all of Peterborough. Now for Central Peterborough. So we saw 32 new listings. That's up about 60% year over year. We saw 13 sales in Central Peterborough. That's down about 38% year over year. And the average price clocked in at $578,300. That's only down about 0.25% year over year. So not really a change at all in the average price for Central Peterborough for the month of October when we're comparing 2022 to 2021. And then we've got, days to sell typical, it's up 116% and we're at 26 days to sell for a home in Central Peterborough. Now, moving on to lovely East City. We saw 19 new listings in the month of October and that's down about 72% year over year. We saw 12 sales in East City. That's down about 7.6% year over year. And the average price clocked in just above $600,000 for Eastern Peterborough. It came in at $600,083. That's actually up year over year by about 4%. So the average price actually increased year over year for October in Eastern Peterborough. Now, I think this is the longest days to sell in the different regions in Peterborough. It clocked in at 31 days to sell, and that's up about 106% year over year. In the north end of Peterborough, we saw 32 new listings, and that's up 60% year over year. We saw 13 sales. That's down about 55% year over year. We saw the average price clock in at $580,500, and that's down about 19%. So the average price fell about 19% in October 21 compared to October 2022. And then finally, we've got days to sell. That's up at 28 days to sell, just at the average for the city of Peterborough. That's up 180% from last year. Then there's the south end. We had 17 new listings. That's up 54% year over year. We only had 6 sales. So not a lot of sales in southern Peterborough. That's down about 50% year over year. So again, the ratio between new listings to sales, you're at about, 2.5-ish listings for every sale in southern Peterborough. So a lot of inventory for these buyers to choose from. The average price clocked in at $536,167. That's down about 3% year over year. And we only saw 18 days to sell in southern Peterborough. This is up 38%, but I believe it's the lowest of all of the regions in Peterborough. So only 18 days to sell in southern Peterborough. Finally, we've got the gorgeous West End. So we saw 39 new listings in the West End in October 2022. That's up 95% year over year. Then we saw 31 sales, and this is an exact replica of how many sales we saw in October 2021. So no change there. What's interesting though is how many of these homes that are listed are actually being sold in Western Peterborough. So remember, 39 new listings and 31 sales. So pretty much every home that gets listed there gets sold. Average price clocked in at $696,555, and that's down about 2% year over year. So again, a little bit of a change, not as drastic as we saw in northern Peterborough, but still a decline year over year. And finally, we've got days to sell. So those are at 30 days to sell. That's up about 87% year over year. So yes, these properties are taking around a month to sell, and that is pretty close to the average of 28 days to sell in the city of Peterborough. So that concludes the market update. Now, what the heck's happening in the market? We saw, every statistic stay the same except for that average price, which climbed up month over month. So in my opinion, what we're starting to see is some more demand come back into the market. Some more buyers that were maybe sitting on the sidelines as these prices were coming down are now getting back into the market and knowing what they have to work with. So whether that's the interest rates, talking about coming to a halt, I believe we've got about another 0.5 point interest rate until the Bank of Canada reached their projected rate, or what economists are projecting they will end their rate hikes at. So it's another 0.5 point. So maybe 2 more increases of 0.25%, one in December and then perhaps one in January. Let's see what happens. But I'm thinking maybe buyers are coming back out into the market and going, yes, okay, here's the interest rate I'm going to have to pay, around 5.59%. Let's go purchase something. And because those purchase prices are lower than they were, in the crazy market in March and February of 2022, because those purchase prices are a little bit lower, it's easier to afford a home. Now, it is easier to afford a home if you've got a significant down payment. Where these interest rates are hurting buyers is really the first-time buyers. They have to qualify at 2% above the stated interest rate. So if the bank is giving you a 5-year fixed mortgage at 5.59%, you'll have to qualify at 7.59%, which can be pretty tough. You do need a significant income in order to qualify for, a good enough pre-approval so that you can go out and purchase a home, even though those purchase prices are coming down. But if you've got the down payment, so if you're a second or third time buyer, maybe now is the time to make the move. Yes, you're going to pay a little bit of a higher interest rate, but maybe those rates go down in the next 2 years, 3 years, and you can refinance at a lower rate. The bonus rate now is you can purchase with a lower purchase price. So you've got more equity in the home than you did if you purchased with the same down payment back in February and March. You've actually got more equity in the home. When it's time to refinance, your rates will likely go down. If you purchased in February and March, maybe your rates will go up when it's time to refinance. So something to think about. I believe these buyers are coming out of the shadows. They've been sitting on the sidelines, and maybe they've got, a good realtor that's telling them and breaking down, and a good mortgage broker who's breaking down the finances and showing them that it's really the same monthly payment if you're doing the same down payment as you did in March and February, but you're getting more equity in the home. So you actually have more of an ownership in the home. So then when it's time to refinance or sell, now you've got more equity because you purchased during a lower part in the real estate market. So what's pretty cool here is what I did was I did a rough calculation for you guys just to kind of compare these monthly payments, because that's really what the home is for you as a buyer. So let's say you purchase now. So the average price came in around $627,000. I did actually plug in the correct number, but it was around $627,000. Now let's say you put 20% down, which is around $125,000. So you put that amount down, then you're paying a 5.59% interest rate. You've got a 25-year amortization. What does your monthly payment look like? So your monthly payment would be $3,091 per month. That's if you purchase now at an average price of around $627 and you put your 20% down at the current interest rate. Now let's say you take that same $125,000 and you went to purchase in the peak of the market, which was, I believe, in March, and the average price was around $787,000. So you took that same amount that you were going to put down today and you rewound the clock and you put it down on a house in March when the average price was around $787,000. You've got still your 25-year amortization, and we'll go with an interest rate of around 2.5% because I believe that's what it was back in March. So how does that affect your monthly payment? So the monthly payment comes in at $3,047 per month. So a $50 change if you're purchasing now versus when everything was crazy in March. A $50 difference. Now it is, yes, $50 cheaper if you did purchase in March. However, there's a caveat. You've got more equity in your house because your down payment goes further now in October than it would go in March. And this is the reason I believe we're starting to see some demand come back into the market. So let's see what happens in November. We're in November right now. Let's see what happens. Let's see how the Bank of Canada's October 26th announcement affects the market. Let's see if that actually results in a decline or if we continue to see an increase. It's impossible really to say this is a trend. We've only got one data point, which is October. The curve kind of goes like this, and then we've got a little upturn now after October's statistics. So let's see if we continue to see that rise or if we go back down to maybe September's numbers or maybe lower than September. Let's see what happens in November, guys. Stay tuned for that video. So that's all for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it shed some light on kind of what's happening with the real estate market and kind of highlighted the importance of paying attention to your local market. That being said, if you're interested in all things Peterborough real estate, please drop a subscribe and a like below. It really, really helps out the channel. And until next time, guys, I'm Alex Blencarn. This is the kitchen table. Take care.